The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation, make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels, operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Duvall, Washington, on your new fire apparatus, job number 32772. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. Let's get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Let's start down at the front bumper. On the front bumper extension, right and left side, you have dual air horns. Located on the passenger side, you'll find a PA speaker and siren speaker. Moving toward the center, you'll have tow hooks connected to the frame rails. Located in the center, you'll find your call sign 166, and then onto the driver's side, you'll find your mechanical siren. Let's move up onto the bumper extension top. You'll find a 2.5-inch swivel reduced down to 1.5 inches. Just inside the tub storage location here, you'll find a D handle which will gain access inside for your hose storage. On the outer edges of the cab, you're going to find turn indicator lights. Moving inward of that location, the headlight cluster housing low and high beam headlights. The high beams will be on the inside. Moving up from that location, you'll find emergency warning lights. Located behind the Pierce logo, you'll find the release mechanism for the hood. Up onto the seamless one-piece windshield, you'll find 3 windshield wipers. Moving to the outer edges, you'll find your mirrors. They house a convex and flat portion of the mirror. Moving up to the brow of the apparatus, you'll find 5 running lights and then a center forward-facing floodlight. Moving up onto the top, you'll find your emergency warning light bar. Located in the center of that light bar, you'll find your opticom. Here's a few close-ups of those things that we just talked about. 2.5-inch swivel discharge, reduced down to 1.5 inches. The tubbed storage location. As we move to the outer edge, you'll find the turn indicator and marker light, headlights, and emergency warning lights. Directly behind the Pierce logo is where you'll find the release mechanism to release the hood. As we move around to the driver's side door, your department logo. You do have keyed access. And then also as we move into the step well, you'll find the air inlet and then also an air shutoff and air outlet. Let's move just to the side of the vehicle where you'll find your shoreline inlet. This is a 20 amp auto eject plug and then a side facing emergency light. When plugged into shore power, your auto charge status center will activate, charging your batteries. Let's start here at the top of the pump panel, first with the gray area at the very top. This is going to be your Pierce maintenance schedule. We'll talk a little bit about that in a moment. Moving slightly to the right, you'll find an audible alarm. The outer edge of that bezel will allow you to dampen the alarm sound. Just beneath that, you'll find a warning indicating not to open the throttle unless the green light is indicating. In the gray area, we're going to find the master intake gauge and also the master discharge gauge. Between those two, you'll find the test gauge ports for vacuum and pressure. They are currently plugged. As we move further to the right, you'll find your Pierce throttle pressure governor. And then moving further to the right, you'll find 2 indicators. First, water level indicator in blue and foam indicator in red. This is the Pierce minimum operation schedule for 150, 200, and 250 psi. On the left-hand side, you'll find the associated GPMs, and on the right side at test pressure, you'll find the associated RPMs. This also does list the job number 32772-01. Close-up here of the water level gauge and the foam level gauge. These are both digital LED readouts. As we move up to the very top, we'll find all of your gauges. They are color-coded and also labeled. Each of those individually activating each valve. Moving to the right, you'll find your reel rewind. This is to rewind the booster line at the top in the dunnage area. As we look also to the left, you'll find a red air horn button, and then also a main inlet open and close indicator, valve, and switch.
Moving to the right, we're going to find your Foam Pro system. These are the instructions and operating instructions on the right-hand side. And then the Foam Pro module, which is in the blue section. As I move further to the right, you'll find this placard regarding the type of pump that you have. You have a Hale pump. Moving down, you'll find some warning labels. This is a warning label regarding pressurized caps and the associated hazards while removing a pressurized cap. As we move to the left-hand side, you'll find an indicator that your pump is properly engaged. When exiting the cab, it will illuminate. And then you'll also find two switches here, driver's side and passenger side scene lights. Moving down, you'll find a twist engine cooler. And then to the right, we're going to find two electronic valves. These are going to operate, and I've got a close-up of these images also, but these are going to operate open and close for the master intakes. There is also a master intake relief to reduce or increase. This is an override. As we move down, you'll also find the officer side Acron electronic valve. And then we'll also have a warning label here regarding that only trained personnel should operate this piece of equipment after proper training and reading the owner's manual. We do a 2.5-inch auxiliary inlet, female inlet. And then also on the left, we'll find all your color code and associated drains and also labeled. Let's move to the right. We do have a couple warning labels here. Once again, pressure and fall. Should not ride on the side of your apparatus. And then also, this is going to be your tank to pump, open or close. This is an air shift. Moving down, you'll find your air primer. This is for priming the fire pump. There are also instructions just beneath that. You should have at least 1,000 minimum operation RPMs to engage that pump primer. As we move to the crosslay area, you can see you have a door covering the crosslay area. Once accessed in that door through the D handle, you'll find all of your crosslays associated in this area. Let's go up to the top here. We'll take a look in the dunnage area. This is your booster line. There is also a wheel for activating your MasterStream device, and then also on the right-hand side, the ability to raise the MasterStream device. As we look to the forward section of the cab, there are two warning labels here that you should not walk or stand in this area. It is a non-walking surface. Back to the dunnage area, MasterStream device and also a work light. Just outside of the dunnage area is where you're going to find the water fill location. This is for top fill, and then also the Foam A operation fill location. There is a warning label on that tank indicating foam failure, and you should not mix brands or consistencies. This is your generator system. As we move to the left-hand side, inside this compartment, we'll identify the items and the modules within this area. First, let's start on the left. This is the G1, which stands for generated power. That is the breaker box. At the very top, you're going to find your auto charging system. When you're plugged into shore power, this will activate. Also, just beneath it, you'll find a timer box for the ventilation system within your vehicle. We're also going to look to the left. This is the generator output module. And then also we'll look down here. You can see all your associated breakers with the G1. Your vehicle also has a light tower on top, and this is the control module for that light tower. It's going to be the yellow coiled remote. And we have a close-up of that here in just a few moments. This compartment also has a ventilation fan, which is located down at the very bottom. Underneath this compartment is where you're going to find the tank drain. Let's go ahead and move through the side of the compartment here, where we're going to find SCBA bottle storage in addition with retaining straps. As we move further back, you'll find additional SCBA bottle storage, single, silver, diesel fuel, ultra low sulfur diesel is what we're recommending. And there is also a 4.5 blue DEF tank. Located in the center compartment here, adjustable shelf, dry deck, and LED lighting. As we move to the rear compartment, once again, adjustable shelving, LED lighting, and dry deck material. Let's move to the rear of the apparatus, just a quick look so we can associate where we're at. Let's start down in the lower left-hand corner with the reverse, stop, turn, and emergency light cluster. Moving up from that, we have two cupped switches. We'll go over those in just a moment. Further up, you'll find your license plate holder and then also a flag pole holder. And then moving up from that, you'll find scene lights and also emergency warning lights. As we move down toward the center area, just above the step area is where you're going to find a rear discharge. Moving inside of that location, we've got a few warning labels here regarding pressurized hazards, not running on the back of the apparatus, and also fall injury, and also hose entanglement. Directly in the center, you'll find your backup camera. And then all the way to the very far right, we have this pan door, which we'll go over in just a moment, the contents behind it. And then also just above that, you'll find a rear intake. And further up, hose dividers, and then also storage location. Let's take a couple close-ups here. Those are the two cup switches, hose bed lights, and also rear scene lights. As we move up further, you'll find the license plate and flag, emergency light, and scene lights. And then, of course, we'll cover these warning labels here. Pressurized hazard, this is the driver's rear discharge, 2.5 inch. And then located in the center, you'll find your backup camera, and just to the left, a fall hazard and entanglement hazard. And then all the way to the right, you're going to find your rear inlet. Let's take a look up into the hose bed area. There is also storage location and long tool handle storage. Down to the very bottom, you'll find a pull-out style shelf. The release mechanism is on the right-hand side and an adjustable shelf in the upper portion. Back to the compartment, this is the powered equipment rack on the left-hand side in the gray area. There are instructions on that, and then also your powered hose bed divider for the driver and officer side. Quick look here on the side of the vehicle. We do have a relief valve here. This is an air drain. This is to bleed the rear inlet. As we move now to the side of the compartments, we'll start from the rear, working our way forward. You can see you have a tool board, pulls out, adjustable shelving, and also a fan within this compartment for ventilation. As we move to the rear section, you also will find a 9,000 pound maximum allowable winch rating. This is the receiver for your winch. Let's move forward to this location where you'll find 3 SCBA bottle storage locations with retaining straps. And as we move to the forward section in front of the rear wheel, you'll have 3 additional SCBA bottle storage locations. As we move just directly over the rear tire, you'll find a long compartment, adjustable shelving, LED lighting, and dry deck. And same moving forward onto the next compartment, dry deck, LED lighting, and adjustable shelving. This is your exhaust. Be cautious where you park, extremely hot temperatures. As we move just underneath that, you'll find the manifold drain. This is just under the running board. And then as we move now midship location, we'll talk about the contents behind this area and the access for modules. We'll also find a real rewind switch located in the upper right hand side. As we move downward, we'll find a 2.5 inch discharge. We do have a warning label here once again for pressurized hazard. And then large diameter discharge. We do have an access panel and also once again that warning label. As we move further down, you'll find your relief valve for the master intake. This is an override for that. And then moving further to the right, you're going to find your large diameter pump intake. Moving further down to the very far right-hand side, upper section, we're going to find that pan door, and we'll talk about the contents behind that pan door in just a moment. Down at the very bottom, you'll find your 2.5 inch auxiliary inlet, and then all your associated discharges, drains, which are color-coded and also labeled. We're back to that large pan door. First, there is a pump light inside the compartment, and this also houses in the upper left all of your modules. And to the right-hand side, this is your hydraulic reservoir for your equipment rack. Close up here of the real rewind switch. And then as we move downward, we've got an additional pan door, and we'll go over those contents in the next set of images. I wanted to focus in on that warning label here, and then also the manual override for your master intake. As we look to the very far right, 2.5 inch officer's side auxiliary inlet. Associated drains, color-coded and labeled. Let's move inside the cab now. And first, at all points of entry for personnel, we have warning labels located on the inner door panels. There are also grab red handles here for access firefighters in and out of the cab. We do have 2 fold-down seats on the rear wall. And then we have 2 rear-facing seats. There is your David Clark headset system overhead, in addition with push on and off red and white lights. Located on the back wall in the center cabinet, we have adjustable shelving and LED lighting, and also a 12-volt access point. This is for your daily checks for apparatus maintenance for oil and transmission. In between the rear section of the seats, you'll find additional locations for equipment. This is your Motorola radio, and then also you have the ability for plug-in. Quick look here of the rear looking forward to the driver's area, and we'll begin some of the things starting with the officer's seat first. First, a point of entry, so we'll have warning labels located on that door panel. Your vehicle is also equipped with a supplemental restraint system, an airbag, and that's the warning label regarding that airbag. Prior to mounting any equipment, you should verify the location. You do have a glove box also and grab handle just above. Underneath the seat, you do have additional storage. Let's go ahead and move now to the floor area where you'll find your mechanical siren foot pedal. As we move to the dash area, you'll find the air horn push button and also the radio push to talk button. Your MDT module located in the very front, and also a map light on the far right hand side. Overhead, you'll find your Kenwood unit radio. Moving to the left of this location, you'll find your siren and PA speaker system. Moving left again from this location, you're going to find a set of switches: emergency master, front flood, driver's side scene, officer scene, rear scene, momentary opticom, ground lights, and siren brake. As I move toward the center section, from the officer seat, you also have 12-volt barrel style access. Moving forward, you'll find a parking brake. And then just in front of that, you'll find the vehicle data recorder port, and then also a speedometer, which is a digital readout. Let's go ahead and move to the driver's area. First, master battery switch on and off is the red switch at the very bottom. As we move up to the top, you'll find your hazard lights, four-way flashers. And then also as we move through, I'd like to point out this placard regarding manufactured from Pierce for your department. It has the date of manufacture, job number, gross vehicle weight rating, cold tire inflation, VIN number, fluid capacities for the components, fluid capacity, and also the fluid type. As we move to the floor of the driver's area, you'll find your mechanical siren foot pedal. About the left knee, we'll find the tech module plug-in, engine, transmission, and ABS diagnostic ports. And then to the right, the display. There are also three switches just below. You're going to find ABS diagnostics, regen inhibit, and also DPF regen. Moving up toward the dash area, we're going to find this small switch, which stands for EM, Emergency Master. It will activate all of your emergency lights or turn them off. Headlights, and also panel rocker switch, which brightens or dim your panel lights. Let's take a look at the panel here. We have the transmission oil, DEF level, and water temperature on the left-hand side. In the center, you'll find your tachometer and speedometer. And on the right, you're going to find your volts, fuel, front and rear air. Diagnostic information will appear above and below the speedometer. As we look to the right-hand side of the column, you'll find your high idle and OK to engage the high idle. As we move to the dash area, you'll find your pull to apply your system parking brake and push to release. Further to the right, you'll find your Pierce command zone. Tremendous amount of information right here at your fingertips. Please see your owner's manual. And further to the right, you'll find your Allison transmission pad with an indication to pump in drive. Let's move further to the right. We'll find mirror heat, ground lights, and generator PTO. You do have some switch capabilities here for future switches in this location. They are programmable. As we move down to the bottom section, we'll find your engine brake on and off, a setting switch for that engine brake, front wheel lock, off-road traction, tire chains, and differential lock. To the right, you'll find the operation for your generator instructions, and then you'll also find your pump shift instructions on the left from road to pump, and then from pump to road. You need two green indicators, pump engaged and OK to pump prior to exiting the cab for pump operations. Just above that, you're going to find your mirror control, left and right mirror, and then also climate control directly in the front. Let's look overhead of the driver's area. We're going to find this yellow placard. This is your height, 11 feet 3 inches, your length, 32 feet 8.5 inches, and a gross vehicle weight rating of 49,800 pounds. There's also the job number located 32772-01. Moving to the right, we're going to find a set of switches: emergency master, light bar, front warning, side warning, lower rear warning, upper rear warning, high beam flash, and opticom. When any of these switches are activated, there will be a green LED indication around the entire switch indicating that it is on. Moving further to the right, you'll find your siren brake, air horn, a momentary opticom, load manager, front flood, driver side scene, officer side scene, and also the rear scene light. Same, the light will illuminate around when it's activated. Moving to the right, you'll find your Pierce seatbelt information. Red indicating that someone is in the seat. As you can see here, it's red. This is the driver's seat, and they are not belted. If they were belted, they would be green in color, indicating the seat is occupied and the belt is on. Let's move further to the right. This is directly in the center of the cab. This is an LED light that will indicate, if illuminating, that you have either a compartment door or you have a person door open, and you should not move your apparatus. You do have push on and off red and white lights located in the cab. There are also speaker system located inside the cab for your stereo system, and then also your David Clark headset system where you'll plug in for your headsets. As we move to the rear section, you can see the 2 forward-facing drop-downs and 2 rear-facing SCBA. Congratulations, Duvall, Washington, on your new fire apparatus, job number 32772. If you have any questions about this video or any questions regarding your apparatus, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.